Yo, 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 what is going on, everyone? So, yep, just like the title says, I'm testing out my new polish. No, it's not made with door blending or ADS blending, BM, you know, B&B blending or 3D Pro. No, I'm just testing something. Just again, I don't know if this is going to be a full thing. I think it's going into the right direction of what I want to do. So yeah, so this is sample 11 that I have here and sample 12. So we are dialing it in, and when I mean we, I mean I, and obviously um, what we're doing in terms of blending this. So yeah, so all in all, this sample two is more cut, more finish, and this one is optional to spray, maybe. So yeah, so yo, what's going on, Hawaii Tim? Yeah, pretty much sample 11 and 12. So all in all, Tim, you got something heading your way. Just to see how let me know, test it out, let me know how things go on your end. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's been going on in the works so far, and yeah. So what am I going to do in this test? Pretty much is I am going to cut, finish, and just show that you can use a pad washer if you like, and do yeah. So you can use a pad washer if you like, um, you know, and different types of polishes, and of course, we are going to coat sections, but we're going to polish sections, bam, 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 and we're going to use 4 different coatings and see how it adheres. So it's just going to be a wipe-on coating. You could get great cut, great finish, and pretty much coat right over it right after wipe-off. And you can also polish in the sun. Now, in terms of polishing in the sun, I'll do another live demo in a different date. So yeah, so that is what I am going to do. That is what I am going to do. So if you want to use a pad washer, you can use it with a pad washer. If not, now if you use it with a pad washer, just make sure you end up using a surfactant heavy rinseless wash. You don't want to use anything with a polymer or exactly 50-50 mix. You want to use a heavy surfactant rinseless wash. So that is something to keep in mind, and we are going to be testing. So let me bring out my polisher. I do have my 3-inch polisher as well, just for all of you to take a dive in. So yeah, this can work with any type of pads. So as you can see here, I have flat pads. This is the Lake Country HDO pad, I think, with this backing plate. Then I have the soft waffle pads like I like to use. This is the visor. And we are just going to play around and remove my coating that's on here. And then we are going to um, polish and remove. And I'm going to show you a quick trick that I really like so far that we got pretty much almost dialed in. And this sample is, you can spray it. You have the option to spray it, but it doesn't spray as consistently as you want it to. And yeah, so it kind of just like squirts. You see that? So if you're a sprayer type of guy, it's not probably going to atomize so much, just because trying to get I'm trying to get it to spray a little bit more or atomize a bit more. But the reason why we can't do that is because potentially it will mess up the formulation or the emulsification of everything on how everything is coherent. So, but in this case, it'll be good because guess what? You're able to get pretty much sort of even sprays, at least streams for now. So I'm not really too bummed about it yet. I just want to make it a possibility that if you want to have a more consistent flow instead of doing pea-sized drops, then you can spray it. So I am going to polish or cut this side, right? And this is the sample one. I have two, so the sample two will be the more cut. But we're gonna do the more cut side on the piano black trim. So that is what I am going to do on that end. So yeah. So same thing, just start polishing. know how NextZen has their you know, polish or compound that you can their polish or compound that you can spray water or dilute it. Let me come over here because I am at a frame. And just ask any questions while I'm looking on here. So let me see if I see anything down here. Bam, bam, bam. So yeah. So pretty much what you can do is add just a mist of water, but this will be great for the finishing step. So I have distilled water here. It has to be Target distilled water. If it's not Target, then you're not getting anything. Let me make sure. Yeah. So if you want, you could do a light mist just like that, just for extra, I guess, especially now since it's not spraying properly on it. So I am going to just switch it to a topper or just dab it on. But yeah, so you can just add a spray of water to add more working capabilities, especially in direct sunlight, which is freaking awesome. And I will show you how to finish doing that method, which is freaking insane. Bump it up to speed 4. And let me bring you in close so all of you can see. Bam. Hopefully, I don't want to tilt you guys so much because I got the mic right there. But yeah, you can remove the polish residue. It pretty much almost goes clear. Very easy, very forgiving. Just wipe. And that is it. Ready to go. So let's check the hydrophobics. Let me grab some water, and I'm gonna do this the getaway because I don't feel like grabbing my my hose. So those are the water beads right there. And from here, it's pretty much no beading. You see, no round beads. But we are doing the cutting step. So that's why I'm using the wool pad. I want to remove that C6 diamond on there. Is this going to be a DMS branded polish or the new brick and mortar? No, so pretty much B. Riley, this isn't, so this is just going to be completely, you know, just a polish that I'm making. It's not with Thor blending or B&B blending, nothing of that nature. So, so yeah, so it is completely just different. And I am going to grab this polish. As you can see, it is a bit on the thicker side. So play around with more, I guess, versions of this. But I am going to apply a bit more on here. And this isn't going to be like, you know, your one spray polish if you decide to spray it. Just, you know, if you do decide to spray it, tended to be like 2 to 3 sprays. That's pretty much even how I use the gold standard polish in this day and age anyways. So so yeah, I just like the longer workability, especially if you're working in direct sunlight. Just add an extra couple sprays and it's able to work straight through. Will you get some dusting? Yes, you may get a little bit of dusting. That is completely normal, especially if you're polishing outside in the sun. That's like asking a rinseless wash not to dry on the paint in direct heat, right? Like you're not gonna spray the whole rinseless wash on the whole side of the car, and then once you get to it in 90-degree weather, say, why did it dry, right? Like we got to use a little bit of common sense. It may dust a little bit because there is pretty much 0 oils carrying this this polish, so you're able to literally wipe off and just coat right over it, and that is what we're gonna do. So pretty much done with the cutting step. For example, right there, you can just rip off your pad, move on to a finishing pad if you like, whatever finishing pad of choice. So say for example, here I'm gonna use the DIY Detail one because this is the only other finishing polish that I have or pad, right? You just grab that. I remove the sprayer off the thing, and what you can do here, I will bring you in close. You do have some little bit of polish residue. See if all the can see that. See that right there? Little bit of polish residue. You still got enough in there. So show you a quick and awesome way so you can see something. Grab the distilled water where I put that bad boy. Here it is, right? Grab your distilled water. Do like 2 mists on your pad. Do that if you want to reactivate it, if you have enough product. Now, if you're in direct sunlight, obviously results may vary, especially if it's super, super hot. And this is what I like to do to give it a little bit workability, and you will see the shine and gloss on how this performs. And we're gonna do this same test on the piano black trim. So that's that. Pretty much almost all of it dissipated. Wipe off. Very easy, very slick, and the finish is glossy and shiny. Hopefully you guys can see that finish right there. Nice and glossy. And that's it. The area is polished, so I am going to leave that as that for now, so we can see a little bit on the piano black trim. And let me angle you all so you guys can see it between the light right there. And I'll probably open the door so you get a quick glimpse. And I'm gonna use 2 different versions. I'm gonna use the one that cuts more and the one that was apparently sprayable. But we are going to see, so hopefully the camera picks it up. Try to finish it. I do have swirls, I do have scratches in there. It's piano black, it is natural to get that. And I am going to put just a little bit on my wool pad. This works with microfiber pads as well. I was testing this in New York. You can use it with microfiber pads, but with microfiber pads, it will dry up just a little bit quicker. That is with pretty much any compound or polish, because microfibers get really, really hot, so it cakes up a lot easier. It doesn't run cool like wool and foam does. So yeah, I am just going to polish this section right over here. By the way, you can polish on plastic trim with this. It doesn't have that heavy solvent or things. Obviously, I am cutting in this area, so with any compound or polish, even if you're using whatever brand that doesn't stain plastic trim, if you're using this on high speed on any plastic trim, it will potentially stain, or it will stain because you are using this for correcting capabilities. And I always preach that. But in terms of just regular polishing, no, you will not stain plastic trim. Trying to stay away from the edge, of course, because I am cutting. So that's it. So I put enough of ample residue on here so I could just swap over. I'm so used to flipping the camera around because I'm never freaking live. So let me grab my finishing pad. For example, I am using the Thor's finishing pad. May I need to actually go straight to a to a medium pad, maybe. This is doing it on my plastic trim or gloss piano black. So like I said, one spray is more than enough for that. Just a quick mist on here. And the great thing about this, if you're using this, this is the way I like to finish on piano black. It really, because sometimes the abrasives on any polish really will be a little bit too strong with this, but this is the trick I like to do. And the great thing about this, since it's water activated, pretty much a polish, wipe off, coat right over it. So I did spray a little bit too much, so it was just one spray on the pad itself, but I've been more than enough. But not all finishing pads are the same. So you're about to see on how glossy this thing is gonna look. So once it just starts getting like that, just stop. Just stop once the water pretty much is almost gone. And we are going to see. Now this is able to cut super good and finish good, but the problem is that when you add something that has great cut, we are trying to find something that can finish down nicely. And yeah, so let's see, hopefully we could see that. So in terms of removing all the scratches, it did remove the scratches, but I definitely need to step up to the medium pad for this one. So let me grab the medium pad just because I still got those little wool marks for it, especially in this case. So this is what testing does, right? It's not just grab a product, make it work, and it's right away the first time. But we're getting close. We're getting close. If any of you guys have any coatings, let me know. Let me know. Yep, it is trim and rubber safe, Franco. It is trim and rubber safe. Water base, wipe off, and coat, non-primer polish. Yep, non-primer polish. So so it is a non-primer polish. So I am still putting this one. This one I'm pouring that was supposed to be sprayable, but I'm gonna step up to a medium. Piano black is always one of the hardest to finish regardless. So let's prime this up. And by the way, look at the trim. It's not stained. It's not stained whatsoever. Ah, man, thank you. Hawaii Tim. You know, we were speaking in the background when this was an idea. And I don't know, you're the one that also kind of motivated to pull the trigger. So I'm really happy for that. I can't say it's an Endgame V2 because they do sell Oblivion, the panel prep for it. But it's so easy to work in the sunlight. Endgame is great to use in the sunlight. It is awesome to use. This polish at the moment has no scents. I am not going for any scents or dyes at the moment. I just really need it to be its functional use of what I am doing for it. Now look, I'm polishing near the rubber trim. It's just nice. And Jay Beely, by the way, this isn't Thor blending or BMB or armored. No, this isn't none of those. So this is completely different. This is completely different from what you're probably thinking. So just switch to the blue pad. Just go up and down, quick passes. Just because piano trim, it is a biatch to work with. But oof, that looks super nice. Hopefully it picks up on camera. The bright lights kind of distort things, or the front camera of this as well. So, so yeah. Oops. So it's doing pretty good. Definitely work a bit better on the piano black trim for sure. So what I am going to do is, so in terms of cutting, I don't think we need to use this this one that cuts more, the more cut one, because it's, it's going to be too aggressive for the plastic trim. So of course, of cutting capabilities, we got that cut. Finishing on the piano gloss black, I still got those trail marks of the still got those trail marks of the wool pad. Is just leaving some marring. But what I'm gonna do, since we're skipping the more cut one, because we don't need to cut more, and the cut more one, we'll do a video on it some other time. I'll probably do a live when I get a black vehicle and do comparisons. I'll try to get like a hammered black color car, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm just gonna apply here, use a 25 millimeter DA. I'm just gonna polish this out, and we are going to wipe off and coat right over it. The main testing is to see how it interacts with all coatings. So I am using 4 coatings today, which is Immortal, Hydrates, the 1-year Graphene, and Labo Cosméticas HPC Pro. So once I'm done wiping off, we are going to do a couple of test sections, and going to leave some areas without actual water. So you're going to see flat areas. I'm not going to do tape lines, but I will leave like certain gaps in between so we can actually see the water beading behavior. Got that going right there. Now let me just grab my finishing pad. Got a couple of drops here. Pretty much nothing, just a pea size, one very small pea size. Yo, look at this finish right here. So the actual, that's freaking insane. All right, so it was a bit too aggressive with that 12 millimeter throw polisher, but look what the 25 did. No more tick marks. Look at that. So you guys can see it on the light. Oh man, that is no more tick marks, no nothing. Yeah, you can follow the light. Nice and clear. And that's not even haze. There's no haze. Let me see if I can clean maybe my front camera screen protector. Bam. Sorry if you guys saw that. Look at that. So the 25 millimeter DA did its job with it. So the small stroke machine, that 3-inch polisher, left the haze and bare nothing. So that is what we did. So all right, now for the test, what we are going to do is I'm going to grab, say, HPC Pro right now. So just make sure you wipe off thoroughly. I use the same towel, yada, 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 right? And I'm using a Kirkland, so you guys can, oh, almost dropped the towel. So just make sure you just wipe off thoroughly. You don't have to be perfection. There's no need to be fully perfect. Just wipe that off. Make sure you get that residue. Easy wipe off. Grab your ceramic coating. So this is HPC Pro from Labo Cosmetica. And we are going to grab, I got that one from DIY already open. So made a video on this a couple weeks ago, which you guys saw today that I released. So pretty much shake this up. And the great thing is Labo Cosmetica gives you some applicators. Yeah, yo, Franco, for real, man. That would have been, well, I mean, it's a Kirkland towel, so I'm able to get rid of that. So Labo Cosmetica gives you a little bit of loving. So it gives you a couple suede applicators, which I am going to use in this instance, which is not a bad idea because I'm using multiple coatings and I don't want to use my my traditional microfiber and waste them. So applicator block, this, and time to coat. Yo, what's going on, Devin? Hopefully all is well. Be in New York. You ready for that detail? Be in New York in a couple weeks, so excited to detail. I'm going to be detailing Devin's car. So most likely I'll be recording that video as well down there while I'm in New York. And be a one step, and I'm going to be using my polishes that I'm testing, and we are going to see the results on how it goes and testing and polishing in direct sunlight. Just wiped off the polish and coating, right? No panel. Yep, just wipe off. I just wiped off the oh shoot. Yo, look at this. Little boo-boo from Labo. That's crazy. Whatever. It is what it is. This is my first time ever opening up a Labo bottle. You see here, you saw it here live. The dropper is just stuck in there. The pipette. So I am going to just do this. Bam. It smells a little bit funky. Hopefully this coating is still good. So yeah. No need of panel prep. I'm gonna grab a clean Kirkland, and I am just going. Let me open the door. I'm gonna open the door. As you can see, still no staining of the plastic trim. No staining whatsoever. So I am applying some HPC Pro right in front of you all. Right there. I'm gonna let that dwell a little. Gonna grab another applicator, a different one. So I'm gonna put this with the Labo and flip this around, grab the other applicator, and I am going to use the DIY Detail 1 year right up in this thing. So shake it up. You can use any coating of your choice. Any coating of your choice. And I am going to apply right here. Bam. Now, certain areas I didn't get all the way down here in this little tight smidge of the corner. That's just for receipt purposes. If people say, oh, the coating didn't last the way it lasted or all that jazz. So that is what we're working with. And while that's sitting, we can finish polish. We can start polishing the rest of the hood. And any other questions? So I'm going to polish the rest of the hood. I don't really think we need to use the more cut one, but I am going to use it just to ensure I remove the I don't need to use the more cut. I'll save that for another. I'll save that for another video. And yeah, so this is put the more cut right there. As I said, you could use a pad washer if you want, whatever floats your boat. So I'm gonna clean this pad now since it has some like oxidation from the rubber it pulled out. Clean the pad. It says my Labo trim was crunchy too, but it worked great. Yeah, no, but was the pipette, what was wrong with it? Was it the pipette or was it crunchy? Like the pipette itself just was together with the which, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna remove that freaking dropper from this one. I am being an idiot. 1 second. What's going on, OneDrive? Yes, sir. Happy weekend. Happy weekend. So what was wrong with your trim? Because, yeah. That's why I like Labo's HPC Pro. It's so freaking good. Same thing with even the 1 year. The 1 year I've been playing around with the 1 year for from DIY. And I had pretty much zero issues with it. And in terms of flash time, if you guys are concerned, I am just doing a polishing step with this. This will be more than enough to remove pretty much an old coating that I have on here, which is the C6 diamond. You said, Sock, have you used Rupes Uno Protect? Just got it and it's pretty good. Hell yeah, I used Uno Protect already before, man. Bro, I used that thing 3 years ago. Go back to it. I think it's one of like I think it's my third video ever on my YouTube channel. Take a look at that. Take a look at that video. Whew, damn, man, that bring. Yeah, I like it as an all-in-one. Yes. But the all-in-ones, I don't know if you noticed, I don't really use all-in-ones, but if I was to use an all-in-one, the one that I really enjoyed most was the at the time was HD Speed or 3D Speed right now. So um that is such a good one, man. That is a very, 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 very good all-in-one in my personal opinion. Even drives auto drives it's not Infinite Ceramic. I forgot what was the name of the other one, but that all-in-one was also great as well. I dude, reading comments while polish. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, one thing for this polish at the moment that I am noticing is slightly caking up a little bit, and I did forget to clean my pad, so that is my thing as well. So again, this is all tweaks, this is all stuff, this is all part of testing and sampling. The main point I want to get across with all this stuff is literally wiping off the polish, coating right over it, and we're gonna check in a couple. I'm probably do an 8-week test, right? Let's be honest. If you coat anything on top of any polish residue or whatever that's on there, you're not going to get 3 months of protection and water beading, right? If you put a coating. And talking to you guys, I almost forgot. I gotta wipe off the HPC Pro and the DIY detail. So let me grab 2 fresh Kirklands, which I got right here. Got me talking to you guys all. And then I'll finish making sure I polish that. So here is the HPC Pro, and that before I forget to polish this thing out or remove. So HPC Pro, super, super easy, super forgiving. No issues here on it. Probably left this here for 5 minutes. It starts to like sweat a little bit. It's pretty much almost clear. You just wipe back and forth, pretty much medium pressure, nothing to it. Feels slick under the towel. Franco, you ended up using HPC Pro. How do you like it, man? I know you said you loved it, so let other people hear it out. Grab another towel, separate towel, and remove this. Let me open the door so I don't mix or cross-contaminate and yada, yada, yada. For a couple people say, yo, this is the 1 year. Easy wipe off still after 5 minutes. Just leaving on the panel. You see that? And that is what we got. That is what we got. I'm gonna grab the other towel because I put my fingerprint on here and do that. Yo, appreciate it, Todd. So yeah, let me go back to polishing this. So that is the whole point of this test, right? Is seeing how this polishes on piano black trim, seeing how it removes the polish, and once you apply ceramic coating on top of it, right after you wipe off, we're gonna test durability. I think, in my personal opinion, as I said, if it surpasses 2 months of durability, with amazing beating still, and like day one after 6 to 8 weeks, you're pretty much all set to go. You know, because most other polishes I have tested, I have wiped off the polish, coated right over it, and within the first month, it just the water beading was gone. Especially when you use any type of detergent, because the coating never properly bonded onto the paint whatsoever, and you get these little patchy spots, or you also get or it just it'll start beating for the first week or so, and then it'll just run off because the solvent overtook the solvent, or the oil from the polish overtook the ceramic. So trust me, I've had that happen before. And you know what's crazy? You know what polish that actually happened to me with? You know what? I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say what polish that happened to me with, because then people are gonna say, "Oh, well, it's just because you don't want to use it." Nah, I'm not gonna say it. But that happened to me with a couple polishes. The occasional detailer. No, I don't want to say I'm dropping my own line. I just want to drop a polish that works literally for 90% of your jobs that you're going to use for whatever. This polish is meant to be just for the detailer. I am not coming out with a pH neutral soap. I am not coming out with a decon soap. I'm not coming out with no chemical lines whatsoever. I just want to make a polish that you can literally use in direct sunlight. You can cut and finish, wipe off right away. It's not a primer polish, and you could coat right over it. Makes your job super easy, super simple, and that is it. I am still testing. This is samples 11 and 12. One has more cut, which I'm going to test on a black vehicle. And then the second one is just something that is in between. Maybe I could help with the finishing capabilities on that, but this is all testing. This is all testing. I'm just getting down the formula on the way I want it to be, and this is so much as close as I want it to be. Just a couple tweaks that I think is truly needed to make it just awesome. So that's just my personal opinion, and this is why I am doing this now, because we are close, and I think we are ready to start doing. Who are you making it with? I'm not gonna say who I am making it with yet, because we are still, again, this is a trajectory at the moment, and once I get the green light and everything, I'll let you all know. But I could tell you who I am not making it with, and it's definitely not Thor blending, and it's not, you know, BMB 8, 3D. It's not them. So those that I just named, it's not with them. So that is something. Yeah, it is completely separate. It's a sock project. And also with this polish, is use whatever coating company that you want. You can wipe off, let it sit, and get things going. So yeah. So anytime so far the formulations has been pretty much on par with what it needed to be done. So with that being said, the formulation is pretty much done. So I tested it before with applying a coating on I don't want to say a test vehicle, but it's one of my neighbor's vehicles. And what I ended up doing was I ended up putting some ceramic spray sealant on it. Lasted a while, and I added a piece of just a 1 year coating, which was Immortal, that I ended up using, which was this older bottle that I had in here with nothing in it. But I want to use a fresh bottle, but this is just an older bottle that's right here. So I want to use that fresh bottle that I have there just to keep the test as fresh as possible, right? Especially since that Immortal's been open already for a little over a year. Um, let's see, Sock. So what's the goal? A better cutting Fierro than coat like Ivan's app. What's the difference with app Fierro and what you're developing? So great question. So the whole point of this is this has nothing. This is not a primer polish whatsoever. Because remember, Fierro has something called forgot what he says, but it's like a mono something. Uh, Pretty much you're leaving something behind so the coating could be received. Dr. Beasley's primer polish again is a nanotechnology that pretty much what it does is it adds an SiO2 there that somehow it attracts the other ISO2 onto your onto the paint, and then whenever you put a ceramic coating on top of that primer polish, and then somehow it wiggles itself down, makes like a matrix, and then the base layer takes over it. I don't know how they do it, but that's what they done, and then the thing is that with app, you got to realize app is not cutting. So the difference between my polish is I am going to use this in direct sunlight. You guys are going to see me use a rotary on black paint. I am going to cut and then I am going to finish then with a DA or, you know, finish. I'm not going to finish with a rotary because it's going to be take a while. So, but yeah, so you're going to see that I am able to do both, wipe off, and then you could coat right over it. This polish pretty much has almost zero oils on it. It is pretty much just mainly water that's on the surface. It's a waterborne pretty much type of thing. So it's pretty awesome. That is the difference between what you're asking. Most of them, app in a way it opens up the pores of the paint, but it doesn't have any correcting capabilities. But for the other ones, they all have some SiO2 and they do not work well in direct sunlight. I've used Fierro a little bit. It gets a little bit streaky and it doesn't have that great of a cut. And then on top of that, you're unable to use it with a pad washer because you're messing up the technology with this one. Just make sure you use a surfactant-based rinseless if you want to use a pad washer. That is my recommendation, or you can just use pure water. It'll clean itself out with pure water as well because again, it doesn't have oils. So that is what is made. It's just made to make your life easier. Do you know if Adol Ali is dropping Labo? I noticed of as last week that products of just ended up fully getting removed. Oh, that I don't know, man. I don't work with Labo. I truly don't know. I can't answer that. But yeah, that is just me. And then this works with any pad. This works with any pad. You know what? I'll show you that you can use waffle pads, wool pads, microfiber pads. I'm gonna use the Visor pad. I'm gonna use Tim's favorite pad right up on here. And yeah, so yeah, it is for the working man, right? I want to make things easier, especially for myself, for my wife. When we detail, we have whatchamacallit, we got a panel prep sometimes. That's just so annoying at times, right? It is. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with that. It is very, very frustrating to deal with, and then yeah, it just becomes a tiring mentality, especially when other polishers out there say you don't need to panel prep, but we recommend you to panel prep. Is like, why? Just don't say you don't need it, because if you don't need it, just don't sell it, right? So this is why I'm trying to just show that once it lasts a couple of months, if your coating lasts, like I said, 6 to 8 weeks or a little bit longer, this is why I'm doing this test spot. If it lasts that long, guess what? Guess what's gonna happen? If it degrades in a year and a half and it's a 5-year coating and it is your daily driver, it's not because of this freaking polish. I'm gonna let you know right now. I started using sunlight. Yeah, man, it's so yeah, that product, I haven't used it yet, but that's great that you can use that in direct sunlight, that CarPro Light 2.0. Nah, it's just practice, man. Especially when you start, editing videos and doing stuff, you're constantly looking back and forth. Let me grab my let me grab my towel up here. And here's a quick thing as well. If you want to do this, you don't have to, but if you feel that you need to, then especially when it's hot outside or whatever the case is, um, you grab your distilled water. We're gonna go to the dry side because we left that polish there for a while on that half. Remember, I freaking polished this, then moved on to there, polished that, and then so that's still there, and we have some residue. So humidity doesn't affect it. Oh, you're talking about CarPro Light? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of coatings now are having some great. A lot of coatings now are having some great like flash times. Like I'm not gonna lie, like DIY detail, I've used this a couple times. I mean, I don't expect it to fully last a year. I don't that isn't my case. The whole case is ease of use. So if CarPro Light 2.0 is just like that, that's great. That means coding technology is coming along, and that is just for everyone. And this is why I'm developing this polish, right? Because I am not here to be a one brand and use my polish only with my coating to get the no. We are. I'm trying to make this the polish that any detailer could use, polish, coat right over it with whatever brand you want, and have a blessed day. So if you want, first, before I spray, let me show this. So in terms of wipe off, like butter. Look at that. A couple times later, bam. Look at that. Up there is not wipe. Wipe that out. And this is why you can polish in direct sunlight because it is still so easy to wipe off. It's so easy to wipe off. But what you can do is, of course, life happens, you're in the sun, it's probably gonna bake in a little bit longer. It's the sun, right? You can't tell the sun not to burn things or get stuff a little bit out of whack. So you could spray a bit of your distilled water if you want, right? You don't have to use a damp and rinse this towel. Put like one spray on it. It's going to like in a way reactivate the polish, right? And you are just going to wipe and then buff off just like that. Bam. You're gonna come around here, wipe a little bit. So you don't need a panel prep, right? This is only if life gets in the way, just like anything else. Things are going to happen. I have the emblem right here. The emblem is caked on with polish. Look at that. Caked on with polish for the past, what, 10 minutes or so? It's already kind of dry. Look. Look how easy it is to wipe off. Look how easy it is to wipe off. Look at that. All done. Very, very easy wipe off. Like you may get an initial, you know, hey, I've been here for a while, man. Like it's all right, right? Like you're not adding pressure for it to like break your arm. You're just, all right, I'm just gonna break that first bit, and then everything else comes off. It's kind of like waxing, right? Like you know that first time you apply wax on the paints, and then that very first initial wipe is like, all right, it's a little bit, and then from there everything else comes on. That's the best way I can explain this polish. It's pretty much just like that. You'll get that initial up, and then everything else just comes with it. Once you grab from there, and that's it. If you like, grab a little bit of your panel prep. Grab a bit of, that's a panel prep. Distilled water, you don't need panel prep. If you just want to reactivate any area that say it's stuck on, dried a little bit, it's okay. As I said, life happens. But the great thing is no panel prep. Come down here. Hopefully you can see that. See, I got it. Is there an angle? Is there an angle? Oh, there's an angle. Oh, there's an angle. Found it. Found it. So you see that polish residue? I know you guys see that right there. Right? Dry towel. Dry towel. This is a dry one. This is the wet one. You could tell because it's dark blue. Gotta speak in code sometimes. Look. Wee wah, wee wah. Gone. See any polish residue there? No. Very easy. Very, very easy. Look, another test spot. Test spot for dummies. That's what I'm doing. Grab another angle. And same thing. Like a butter, baby. So you're creating this because you hate Peleus panel. I wouldn't go that far. I still think Peleus panel prep is great. It's just this is something that's not on the market. It says, amen, brother. I just did a S460 panel prep was 35 minutes. Exactly, man. It's the panel prep just takes forever. Detailing life. I love this part where exactly. No need for that. No need for that whatsoever. So it says banger product. You got cuts like Coach Kemi fine cut. Yo, Ty, you're already too late. I'm done. Welcome back to the podcast. So yeah, you saw how easy it is. Look at this area. I still got polish residue. Hopefully it pops. It just, I can only do this front facing. It sucks. But I am removing this polish residue that I didn't wipe off properly here. And this is all you got to do, right? Like, obviously it's a great car. It's freaking annoying. It's, you know, still got to wipe it off regardless. Even if you're using a panel prep, you want to remove 90% of the actual polish residue because you're just adding panel prep on top of polishing oil and you're removing. So that is it. Let me come around. Let me come around here. Should I show Ty on the or the later cats real quick? You know what? Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna coat these areas. Some areas I can't see because I got a great car, so I gotta go all over. Make sure I remove stuff. But oh, look at that. Got a little bit right here. You know what it is too? It's just with the white lights above sometimes. It happens to me to this day. It just sometimes I think I see some like defects or I see some streaks just because of the roof, because sometimes I have a little bit of streaking right up there. It's not evenly painted. So yeah, so now let's start the coating process. Wiped off the polish. No need of panel prep. I repeat, no need to panel prep. And I am going to do a couple sections. I got my Labo Cosmetica right there. Let me grab a couple applicators for the other polishes. That's not other polishes. Other ones right there. It says, yo, what's up, Sock? You making a new polish? Yes, sir. Making a new polish. Dang, I missed the live. But I will catch with it. Yep. Evening, Sock. Well, you didn't miss the live. I am still going to do this, and I'll do a demo again on the other piano black trim as well for you guys for the later cats that showed up. So first off, I have my oopsie. Where is my applicator? Oh, right here. So this applicator one, I just gotta sniff it. This is the DIY detail one. So what we are going to do is we are going to grab, where did I put the DIY detail spray coating? Oh, right over here. So what I'm going to do is do little test spots here. I didn't make a full, you know, triangle, what do you call it? Full squares. So grab a bit of my DIY detail right up here. 1 year. And what I'm going to do is probably coat, I'll probably coat just like this area, right? Like just like this little square. And we're gonna try to keep the patches as spread out as possible. So when you guys see a checkerboard, you know, it's just because of that. So I'm not gonna make it too small, right? I'm gonna make it like up to here, maybe. So this way we get a good representation of what it is. Maybe I'll put just a little bit on this area. Let me make sure I'm even. You know what? Nah, I'm gonna leave just the side, just empty. And yeah, so got a little bit of like up to here, pretty much. But obviously we'll see because I am spreading this out. So that's the 1 year that I'm applying right there. Yo, Ty, yes sir, yes sir. It's a new polish from the ground up. This is sample. This is sample 12. Try to make it into spray version that I got, but it wasn't sprayable. And this one is sample. Where's my sample 11? And then this one is oh no, wait. This is sample 11 May spray, but it wasn't spraying. So I took the topper from this, and this is sample 12, no spray, more cut. So what I'm trying to do is make a polish that you can cut, you can finish, you can wipe off right away, easy to use in direct sunlight. The fucking hood looks fucking glossy. Look at that. Y'all can't tell me the hood does not look glossy, right? So doing that, and you could coat right away. So that is my DIY 1 year here. Grab my Labo right up here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the same applicator that I use. I'm gonna put this like a little napkin. Shake up your products. Like before, I don't know why the dropper came out with it, but you know, it is what it is. So I am going to pour a little bit of coating, or a lot of it, poured a lot of bit of coating. And I am going to make just a random square right here. I'm gonna put a random square right here, just as such. So this is HPC Pro from Labo. So we will see if the Labo performs, because again, that coating for some reason, I don't know why, but it wasn't correctly seated, the dropper. So that's that. Just put a couple passes here and there. Just make sure, try to make it as even as possible. So that's that. This will be interesting to follow. Good job, Sock. Appreciate you. Have any details? What coating is that, chat? So the coating I'm applying is this one, David Boyce HPC Pro. And then for this end, I ended up putting DIY detail. So that's what I'm what I'm doing. David, who's blending the polished sock? At the moment, I can't say who's blending. I could tell you who's not blending it. It's not Thor. It is not BMB blending. It's not 3D products or Kaplan or who else? Who else is another blender? You know, you got Ultima that does blending as well, and it's not Armor Detail blending either. It's not Armor. So that's it. There's obviously other blenders, say European blenders and stuff like that, but those are the ones I could say that are not part of the blending. So yeah, let me grab some new Kirklands because I forgot what. Oh no, wait, I can actually just sniff the towel on top. I'll probably just flip it up because it was pretty much nothing. Okay, okay, this one's DIY, and I am going to just wipe off this polish. So time to wipe off. Good luck, everybody else. So wipe off this polish right here. That's a polish. Wipe off this coating right here. I'm gonna flip it, bop it, and get any excess. I may leave a high spot. Who cares? I don't really care. All right. And then this one is the Labo one, which I'll probably wait a little bit more. So I am going to apply hydrate now, and I'll use this towel for hydrate. So what I am going to do is grab a little bit of hydrate, and this one I opened about like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when I was in New York when I did, my wife and I did a Lincoln Aviator. So it says, Big Head Boys. What else? And it's trying own formulated polish and compounds. Exactly. What brand is this polish going to be? It's going to be mine. So that is the plan. It's going to be literally my polish. I am just making a polish. That's it. This is how HP has a hydrate crystallize. It has heavy solids on it. But yeah, so I probably don't need much because I am just coating certain areas. So that is primed enough. And I got up to here, so I'll do this square here from down here. Bam, 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 bam. So it's gonna be my own product, literally. I'm just making this polish for it to be 90%. Anyone can use it. It'll be 90% for all your jobs. It'll be easy to use, wipe in the sun, polish in the sun, easy to wipe off and coat right over it. You don't need to panel prep. And this is a test here just because every time we do any type of formulation change, you do need to, I am doing this test now. Pretty much it's been consistent throughout in terms of wiping off the polish and putting, wiping off the polish and putting on, you know, a coating protection. It's been pretty consistent, but I am trying to change a couple things. And the one is having you guys, whether you guys like polishing, you know, whether you guys like a sprayable polish or a non-sprayable polish, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, Ty. He said, let me get a sample to try. Dude, I'll probably send a couple people. I know I have Hawaii Tim already. I sent them a little bit. There's not much really in terms of what I think is fully close yet of where I want it to be. Now, when it's fully close, when I say, hey, it's almost like at production, right? This is what I'm putting on here. So once I feel like it's close to almost being ready production and I think it's almost ready, then that's when I'll reach out and have a couple people test, man. But for now, this is just me testing alone because starting from part one or from the very first step, look, this is fucking revision 12, 11, and 12. Like, come on, man. having revision 11 and 12, and I'm sitting here, you know, it's too much to try to get too many eggs in the basket and what they want, and this is what it is get it to as close as where I think it's perfect, where I want it to be, how I think it should be for everybody. And that way it's easy for all of you guys to use it, pick up, grab it, and then there, maybe get a couple few people, see how it tests in your environment. Like Ty, I know you're in New York. I'm making this test here to see how it works in South Carolina. And then from there, I already sent something to Hawaii Tim because he has stuff in Vegas. He tests and all this other stuff. And then he lives in Hawaii, so he's able to take some stuff to Hawaii and test in Hawaii weather as well. So it's just a testing process. And yeah, so do stuff. That's what I'm doing. So that's that. I am going to wipe off that label. That label's been sitting there for already, what, like 5 minutes? So this is Labo. And don't do what I'm doing, man. I'm just got towels. So I could just tell by the smell which coating is what. So hydrate, remember, hydrate is an instant bond coating. That's what Ivan says. So we are going to do that. If I leave a high spot, it's all right. I'm trying to keep this because I'm a little bit close to here, so this may also be fully probably coated. It is what it is. Flip this on this side. Get rid of the rest just in case. And yeah. Fuck. You see, I mixed up my towels, so I'm gonna grab 2 other ones, whatever, they're Kirkland's. And or let me grab 3 other ones because I'm definitely gonna need 2 for that hydrate because that hydrate is annoying to wipe off if you don't let it sit for a while. So yeah, so while that's sitting, hydrate, what I am going to do is show you, yeah, these are the new Kirklands. What I'm gonna show you, Ty, is right here on the gloss black trim. Hopefully, I wish it could pick up, you know, those line scratches, and damn, doesn't really pick it up, but I got a lot of swirls right here. Bam, bam, bam. It's normal. Let me see if I could go back here. If I grab this one, yeah, it doesn't grab it. So whatever, I'll show you here, Ty. So I am going to cut. I am going to finish. You can use distilled water, and yeah, so that is so we're gonna do right here, fellas. And use whatever pad you want. Literally use whatever pad you want. Yeah, so for this one, you could use a flat pad, black pad, white pad, brown pad, doodle pad, yoga mats pad, whatever pad you use for polishing, you can use. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. I am just gonna polish this whole section so you could just see it. When I ended up using this with that 3-inch polisher, what ended up happening was for some reason it left like little tick marks or whatever. So I am just using this alone. And you can also polish near trim, no issues. You already know Chimji going hard with that 25. Okay, you done that. Bam. Let me grab my finishing pad. Bam. And I left the finishing pad. I left it over there. Grab your finishing pad. Have a little bit of polish residue in there. And the great thing about this, see that polish residue? You can do just a spray of water if you want, or just that little tiny dab, right? Look, you don't need much. Let me grab my distilled water. Where you at, homie? Right? You could grab your distilled water if you want. Do a light mist. Pretty much nothing. Distilled water. Right? Just to reactivate, probably get a little bit extra working time, whatever floats your boat. And y'all are about to see the finish. Grab the this one. So here is, look at that. Look at that finish, man. Oh man. I removed all the swirls, all the scratches, night deep finish. Polished near plastic trim. Look at that. Or plastic rubber seals. No staining whatsoever. Look at that. How nice that finishes. Same polish. You saw that little dab I put on the finishing. Just one mist of distilled water. You could coat right over this bad boy right now if you want. You can coat right over it. So I'm gonna leave this here with this towel. I'm gonna leave this towel right there. I gotta buff off Immortal before I forget. Now here's the crazy part. So I have my mini split on, so it's starting to fog up Immortal. So if that something happens, that's because I got the mini split right here and it's blowing on it while Immortal's on there. So typically when I apply coatings, I like to what I like to do is turn off the mini split. It's already cool in here, so let me turn it off. I don't really need it on anymore. So, because this just produces condensation here, which isn't good for any coating. So if this fails, it's not because of the polish. You know what I'll do is I'll add a second pass on it now that I got the mini split off. I think that's only fair. That is only fair. Because if I don't do that, I'm skewing a test. Shit. Yeah, if I don't do that, I'm skewing a test, and that's not good. Now wipe off hydrate in the meantime. So just apply a second layer. So as I said, it's not going to be fair with that condensation that just built up all over the coating. There we go. So this towel is for Immortal. This one's for that. Appreciate it, OneDrive Auto Reviews. Appreciate the comment. Let me see. We're getting the band back together. Yes, sir. Franco 7-Day. Glad to see you back. Chingy, yeah, man, it's fun. It is fun to be back for sure. It is fun to be back for sure. And yeah, so as you see right here, got hydrate. So definitely you want to use 2 towels. This hydrate is not fun to wipe off if you wipe off way too early. For me, I found out if you're working in direct sunlight or in humid weather, it's good if you do it within, say, 5 to 10 minutes. But you definitely need at least 2 towels to get this. So the first one is gonna grab the bulk of that resin or thick coating. It's gonna feel super slick right away. And then I'm just gonna put this to the side and get the second towel and buff off the rest. So now we have our areas, our clear area that we are using and what we're doing. And we're gonna see if the coating fails within a couple weeks. So won't wash the car for 7 days just to be fair on everything else. And yeah, Titan Tim back from honeymoon yet? Yeah, he is back. He is back. I was speaking to Titan Tim about this little project. I wanted Titan Tim to be involved in it, but you know, and I asked him the first time a couple months ago, but now that I'm this far in, I said, you know what? It's been a couple months, you know, because I did ask him about this back in November, between November or December. That's when I asked him, and the first time he's like, he's not really into it. And then I was like, all right, now that I'm this far in and I'm almost getting to where I want things to be, I asked him, I was like, hey, but he was like, nah. So yeah, that is where we at. I did ask him today. So wiping off Immortal now. Immortal you can wipe off after 30 seconds or so. Flip the towel over. Bam. Bam. And time to wipe off. And now what I'm going to do is put a coating on the black plastic trim, and I'm just gonna probably just on the black plastic trim I am going to apply hydrate. So this side is hydrate, and I'll just apply it onto the black piano trim. I am going to coat right over it, and bam, and just leave that there. We'll ask some questions. I'll leave this freaking hydrate on here for until I'm almost done with this live. So any questions, any other questions? In terms of the name, he says name is socks, nothing standard about this gold pond. Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know what the name is going to be. I'm really focused on the performance. I gotta sleep on the name. I don't know what to call it, man. I don't know, dude. It wipes off like butter. The shine is freaking amazing. The finish is great. The stopper came out from this. Put that right there. You know, the shine is great. Dude, I don't know what to, like, look at this. Look at how the paint finishes. It's just what I did with a one step. Look at that. It just looks so freaking good. We're gonna go around to the piano black trim. Whoops. Look at that. Look how nice that looks right up there. Bam. Bam. It's just great. So so pretty much in terms of recap, you can use it with a pad washer. You saw me use it with a pad washer. What compounds or polishes? I said compounds or polishes. What pads you can use? Whatever pad, or you can use flat pads, fat pads, white pads, no ass, whatever thing that you want. Works well. You saw what I ended up doing on the piano black trim. I ended up you saw what I ended up doing on the piano black trim. I ended up just turn off one light. Use just this pad, bam, stained rubber or plastic trim. Then I just swap to a finishing pad. One mist, literally mist of your distilled water. One little tiny drop of polish right there on that piano black trim, and it just left it looking like freaking new. It's just crazy. So this is the hydrate, how it is behaving at the moment. but you could just pretty much tell. One more scratches on that thing. One more scratches. Let me see if we can make the scratches pop out on this bad boy. Do 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 do. So here, just swirled up. Here, it's not anymore. So yeah. So that's it. You saw me wipe it off. This is going to be easy for all of you. Literally, this is going to be freaking easy. I am trying to, this polish is going to be meant to be for the detailer that a mobile detailer could use it. You could, I'm going to use this indirect sunlight on black paint with a rotary. I am going to use that. And we're going to test the capabilities, right? We are going to see on how far it could go. Can you polish? Can you finish in direct sunlight? We're gonna let it dry a little bit on the panel, wipe it off, and then we're going to coat right over it. That is what we are going to do. Now, in terms of wipe off, yes, if you leave it there, it is a little bit hard to wipe off, but that's why you could use distilled water, because with distilled water, guess what? You put one spray, you start wiping off, get that bulk of it off when you spray a little bit of distilled water, and then you could just wipe it off. And guess what? You could wipe your hands free because it's distilled water. You're not going to leave any staining whatsoever. So that's why I recommend distilled water. Just one spray, reactivate it, and wipe it off. So that is pretty much my vision, which I haven't used. Like, yeah, that's just my thing. It's going to get 90% of your jobs done. Now, if you get that 10% of vehicles that is like super oxidized, heavily swirled, heavily scratched, use whatever compound you want. I don't have anything at the moment. Maybe I'll think of for that step, but I want to cover 90% of everybody's job. Do a one step in direct sunlight. Bam, coat right over it. And the reason for that is I'm not trying to be like a production type of thing. The problem is that in this market, especially in this economy, a lot of people, especially where I'm at, a lot of people are really more gravitated onto the one step and 1 year coatings. That is what people are looking for at the moment. Is that is what people are gravitating to, is that one step and 1 year ceramic coating. A lot of people are starting to get educated with in general ceramic coatings, that sometimes for them they have daily drivers. It's not even meant to for them to get a 5 year coating if they know it's only going to last a year. So that is something that that people need to keep in mind. It says, Chingy says, would rinseless to wipe off be a problem? Now, I've tested it with rinseless washes. Um, to be quite honest, I tell people the same thing with your pad washer. If you're using a pad washer, use a surfactant heavy rinseless wash. I don't like to use 50-50 polymers because sometimes a polymer will overtake the surfactant base in terms of whatever's leaving behind, right? You're still going to leave a little bit of polymer behind potentially, and that may affect the adhesion of your coating. So use a surfactant based heavy polish for sure, or rinseless wash, if that makes sense. So you want to use that. You want to use that. David Boy says, got a name for you, Sock the Philosopher. Nah, I don't know. I got to think of something simple, something that's, again, that's gravitating. I'm going to make an awesome label. I got to think of a label. First, I got to think of a name. I got to think of the bottling. Like, there's just things I got to think of. Um, but at first, I really want to focus on the product and think about it. Been chatting about this since November, so we're already 9 months in, and yeah, I think we're getting close. Um, Hoping to get something to get out of before SEMA, but I'm not really into a rush in that case. So yeah, it says Ty says we doing 18-ounce or 16-ounce bottles. So I'm just gonna focus on the 16-ounce. I don't think an 8-ounce bottle is even worth it for anyone really. You're gonna get your best value with 16 ounces. And again, I'm not preaching more is more, but I'm not preaching less is more either. It's just going to be right in the middle. Just use whatever you think is right, right? Like you can follow my method, you can follow whatever what I recommend, but just do whatever you need to do and just make your own polishing decisions. Like um, I'm trying to make it so that you're able to choose whether you want a sprayable polish or just use droppers. But I will again play around more with whatever other samples come in, and again there's just so much things that needs to go at hand in terms of uh, is it going to be stable? Is it going to separate? Is it uh, maybe I want to add a smell. What do you guys think? I don't know. Maybe I can add a fragrance to it, but if I do add a fragrance, then I got to do a whole nother test for another 2 months minimum. Um, Let me just read this message. It said, "This is I'm gonna die." Put me down for one. so so yeah, so pretty much is I'll put this right here. Nah, man, you're good to go, man. I don't care. 16 ounces for 59.95. Oh, that ain't bad. I don't know. How much are things going for? That's the other thing. Yo, Adamo, what's going on? Appreciate you joining. Nah, it's no problem. And then Chingy says, yes, surfactant for sure. A hybrid, you want to panel prep that off. Distilled works for me though. Exactly. And what like I said, Chingy, I don't know if you saw for this part, but when you end up wiping something, when you end up wiping this thing off, it kind of feels almost like a wax. You know, like when a wax kind of like hazes over, like your old school type of carnauba wax, like it hazes over, but you get that initial grab. You can either get a little bit of distilled water, spray it, and then just the rest, it buffs off just fine. Um, and that is what it is. Uh, Yo, what's going on, Juice Free? So is this similar to System 1? I don't want to say it's similar to System 1 because it is completely, I want to say yes, but no, the thing with System 1, it doesn't have the cut that you want. It doesn't have the finish. If you guys haven't looked at that video, check the video out that I did back in before SEMA, during SEMA, and you'll see that the System 1 still had a bunch of like haze and swirl. It was just weird. I don't know. But it's not going to be exactly like System 1. It's going to be different um, for sure in terms of cutting, finishing, easier wipe off in the sun. Uh, System 1 doesn't like to be used with a pad washer. Like if you use a pad washer with it, it just dries up quicker. So there are things that that are different from it. So yeah. It says David says do a booty cheeks for a cent. Nah, he says 16 ounces for 20 would be cool, but I understand man shit's going up. Yeah, Ty, I was in terms of pricing, I was talking with somebody about it, and it's just a little bit off, right? Because the raws, if I want to make it a little bit more, like I said, I want it to be a hybrid, right? In a way, whether you could spray it or not spray it, I want it to be a less thicker consistency. And if I was to do that, then the money aspect goes up because you have to change a little bit of the raws, you got to modify the raws, and then from there you have to actually check the emulsification and separation, right? And that's when you got to pay a lab to accelerate the testing, see if there's any. So there's just a couple more things that we got to play with that is more comfortable, um, and especially for my pocket. So that's what I got. He says, David, nah, it's not Jimbo. Jimbo's not blending it. I don't even know who blends for Jimbo stuff either. So he says, do an Old Spice scent. I'm tired of cherry. No, no, no. I don't want to know if I was to make something, it's not going to be a cherry. It's not going to be a banana scent. I don't know. I have to see if the scent is worth it, because if it's not worth it, then guess what? Um, I'll have to test again, right? Because I'm doing the testing. So right now, this is a formulation, no sense, because whenever you add a scent, you're pretty much almost essentially adding an oil with it to make it a scent. And what's going to happen is it may alter the adhesion of your coating. So then I got to do a whole nother test. So I may add a batch with a scent, or I'm going to see if there is a scent that doesn't hinder, you know, uh, adhesion properties. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. What about a dye? What color dye, if anything? Nah, but then sometimes the dye stains the your polishing pads. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so that's this is gonna be great for all of you guys. Literally, I'm excited for this. I'm really happy for it. Um, I'm really happy for it. This is just crazy. Just look at the shine on the hood, man. Let me just flip you guys around. I'm gonna sit down this way. I put the ladder right here because I ended up changing the color of the my LED light up there for my colored vehicle to see a little bit better. But yeah, look at that freaking shine, man. Do you guys see that? Look how glossy that thing looks. Look at that. I'm gonna do a little aerial view just like this. Yo, and that's just the one step, fellas. That is just the one step. That's just the one step that I did right there. So, so yeah, you're making a one step or all in one. So juice free is not necessarily it's not a is it an all in one? I kind of want to say it has no protection, right? But is it an all in one? Yes, you can cut, it's going to have great cutting capabilities and you'll be able to finish down. And that's pretty much what any polish nowadays, right? The whole point of this, a juice free, this whole polish is you can cut in direct sunlight, you can finish in direct sunlight, you can wipe off in direct sunlight, and you can coat, obviously, depending on the coating manufacturer, you don't want to coat, but the whole point is you don't need a panel prep, right? It's easy to wipe off. You can bring it inside your garage. Make sure you wipe off your polish residue or whatever the case is. Just make sure you just wipe it off. If you have a freaking thick layer of polish left over and you coat right over that, come on, let's be real. That's not the polish fault. And that's it. You just bring it inside and just fucking coat right over it. No need a pen. This, and the crazy thing is, juice free. This is not a primer polish. It has no SiO2 in terms of it being a primer polish. Like Dr. Beasley's is not a primer polish like Fieto from Sam. It's not a primer polish like Infinity polish from Job Auto Appearance. It is nothing like that whatsoever. What pad for the one step? Use what any medium pad that you want. You guys saw here. I ended up using just this part. I ended up using the visor orange pad. Then this area right here in the middle. Ooh-wee. Let me see. Whoops. And that area right there in the middle, I ended up using the DIY Detail Gold Standard Polish. And then, yeah, you could use whatever pad of your choice that's your favorite one-step pad. You could use a maroon pad from Buff and Shine if you want. I have the HDO blue pad right over there. That's sitting right there. You can use that for your one-step. I am not selling a pad or a polish or whatever of choice or anything. Maybe when things go down the line, but use whatever. Pretty much, I'm just making a polish. I am not making a product line. I am not making a quick detail spray. I am not going to make a panel prep, and I am not going to make a tire dressing. That is not the intention of this. The intention of this is to make just a polish only. That is it. But that is the point, Juice Free. This is the point. I am cutting to get a lot of cut. So this is why I have two samples. One is one with more cut and one with less cut. You got to be realistic, Juice Free. You can only do so much with the chemicals, with the abrasive. You can only do so much. If you got way too much cut, then it's not going to finish for certain vehicles. This polish is going to answer 90% of your jobs. If you need to cut the best example, Juice Free, is this. I like to use a clay towel, right? If I'm doing a decon wash and it's lightly contaminated or it's a brand new vehicle and never had that type of thing, guess what? I use a clay towel. But if I need to even remotely clay, I go straight for a heavy duty clay bar. I don't grab a fine grade clay bar or grab a fucking medium grade clay bar. It just goes straight to a cutting step with the heavy thing possible, right? Because at that point, you know, as a detailer, this is going to need more. Now, um, I've been playing around with this with a super. It cuts very heavy, but it doesn't night to finish down nicely. But it's pretty much the same technology. So what you can do is, if that will be your ultimate step, right? Like that will be your main cut. But you could just step down to this polish right afterwards if you want and just finish it down if you have softer paint. Now, if you have hard paint, oh, that thing finishes down nice on harder paint. But you got to realize we have to attack a spectrum, right? You have soft clear, you have soft clear, you have medium clear, and you have hard clear. That is something that's bad. Like that. When I mean bad, it's just that's just a bad thing about it, right? Is like we're trying to hit a huge spectrum, but my main spectrum is Juice Free. My main spectrum is having the ability to just polish in direct sunlight in the heat. I'm gonna do a car in the heat in direct sun here in South Carolina. Going to cut it. I am going to polish it and finish it in direct sunlight, and then wipe off easy. That's it. I've done a couple tests already. There is slight. You may get a little bit of dusting or a little bit of drying. You may have to work in smaller sections, but let's be real. Um, you don't fucking spray rinseless or you don't put soap on the entire car knowing that it's gonna dry and you take your time, right? Like we gotta be a little bit realistic. The whole point of it is just show its threshold and how you can still get it done in the sun, no issues, and just wipe off. Let's see. Bro said didn't say pH neutral soap. He's making the eight. Nah, I'm not making that. Nope, not at all. We're gonna have a name for it or just sock polish. I don't know what the name's going to be, Adamo. Probably ask the community if I have a say 3 different names and probably whatever is the best name for it. Hey Ulysses, and then exactly that's such a balance. So trying to do well on German paint and the Tesla paint in a single bottle, tough to do that. Exactly. So but I think I'm getting there because Chingy, the secret to finishing on softer clear that I ended up finding out. I don't know if you noticed, which I demonstrated on the piano black trim right here on the piano black right there, because that thing it wasn't finishing. If you go back earlier, it wasn't finishing with the 3-inch pad. I ended up using the 25 millimeter DA. I ended up spraying one spray of distilled water with a tiny dab, because the whole point is a lot of people get confused with softer clears and they end up putting more abrasive when you really just need just a smidge and just pretty much nothing. You just need that extra lubrication where water just comes in. So uh, yeah, man, that's and you saw how it finishes. I wish it picks up more on camera, but man, this thing came out. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wipe off this damn, I forgot where I put the 2 towels for hydrate. But yeah, let me wipe this over right up over here. But man, I wish I can show. I wish it translated on camera, man. Like in person, if you were to see this, this is crazy. It is crazy. See, I'll bring you guys in close. I just finished wiping off hydrate. I am using a Kirkland towel, so this will probably fucking almost re-scratch it in a way. Let's see if I could bring you all in. Look at that. Look at that finish, bro. Ooh-wee. Oh yeah, look. If I go lower, look, you see how the light, look at that finish, Chingy. Look at that finish. Bro, just that is what we're doing, bro. That is soft gloss piano black trim that I ended up just doing just now, and that was the trick. That was a trick. Chingy, just you saw that little dab of polish I ended up doing on the whatever pad of choice. I ended up putting that little dab, one literally quick light mist of distilled water, and and I left the polish that was already. I left the actual residue that was already there, and that was just enough to finish it. So that's how I got that result. Shoes Free says, I can see my reflection there. It says, I'm telling you, whoever invented them piano blacks, hope they break their toe. Yeah, man. Yo, J Farmer's going on. It says, call it only one. Yeah, yo, that ain't a bad name. It says, I work on Germans, make this shit good. Dude, just use whatever you need, man. Whatever cutting pad you need, trust me, it'll freaking work. It'll work. What we testing? J Farm testing out my new polish, man. I'm coming out with something. It's not Thorn blending. It's not ADS blending. It's not 3D. It's not Kaplan. It's not B&B. You know, so it could be somebody from Europe. It could be now it's gonna be American made, but yeah. So that is what we're doing at the moment. So just finish. So this product, J Farm, just quick. You could cut, finish. I just did a one step and did a couple patches of um, whoops, couple patches of coating. So if any of y'all got any extra coatings, let me know. Send it to me. I like to test and show that this polish, once removed, you could use whatever coating from any brand you want. But that's the shine and gloss. And use any pad. This one was the gold standard polish. Right here was the Visor wool. I mean the Visor orange pad, and the one over there I did a two-step. He said it's Thai blending. We cooking this shit in Brooklyn. Now, how many versions have you tested so far, Sock? So far this is 11 and 12. So this is sample 12. Pretty much with this one, and I poured it on here because I don't want to use the bottles that they sent in general. But this one was supposed to be sample 11 that you can spray, but it's still a little bit too thick. I wanted to make it a little bit more sprayable. And yeah, so that's that one. And then sample 12 is no, you can't, it's not sprayable, but it has a lot of cut. So this I will show in the excuse me, in the video, in probably live when I do it in direct sunlight. So this is something that I've been doing and testing for a little bit since I want to say November, December-ish. I've been doing this. So yeah, that is that is what is happening. Chemical guys, you already know, baby. The cheapest. That's what I'm doing. So nice wipe off, I assume. No rinseless needed. So great thing about this polish, you can use it with a pad washer. If you're using it with a pad washer, just make sure you use a heavy surfactant rinseless wash. That is number one. Number two, you don't need to, you could clean out your pad if you want with an air compressor. I don't care what you do with your pads, whatever is your choice. Third thing is just polish away In terms of wipe off, easy wipe off. You could go back about like 20, 30 minutes or so. I do have a little area of the clip where I let that thing dry, and they saw it here live. Easy to wipe off. So you're not having a specific pads made like DIY or pan. At the moment, that's not really my thing because to be quite honest, I tell people all the time I like waffle pads. Um, I like waffle pads. I like to polish with them. I could polish with any pad. You guys saw me, but if I start making a pad, what type of pad would you guys want? That's number one. And ooh, how can I make a pad better? Right? Like my whole point is I want to change the game in terms of the polishing world. Right? Like that is the whole point of what I'm trying to do is make things easy. I just don't want to come up with another product, right? Like, is the pad going to make cutting a little bit more? Is it going to make finishing a little bit more? These are the things I need to worry about. I was thinking that juice free. I want a bro. There's no way. There is no way that you, bro. I've been saying this already. I want an edge guard waffle pad. I've been saying that, and bro, you can even ask Hawaii Tim. I was speaking to Hawaii Tim. I was thinking of a purple one. I like purple pads. Um, dude, the purple pad that reminded me that I really enjoyed was that 3D1 purple pad. Not the spider cut one, but that deeper purple one. But if I can make it just a little bit lighter in between, that's the color I would choose. But yeah, that is crazy. So yeah, I was thinking, but the whole thing is the price, right? That is the price. That's the price point. And then yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how you make a better pad. Um, to be quite honest, Ty, so there is ways to make things better per se, and it just depends whether how closed or how open the structure is of your pads. I've been using a whole bunch of pads, and you probably had this. If you like a pad washer, right? I can't create a pad that you can't use with a pad washer when I am advocating that you can use it with a pad washer, right? So then if I make a pad that just holds too much water, too much retainage, it doesn't spin out the pad properly, then we have an issue there. So there's just things that yeah, you can make things a little bit better. You planning on doing any other products? No, I don't plan on making any other products. J Farm is just strictly polish. I am not coming out with a pH rinseless. I am not coming out with a. The only thing I may try to do is make more of a surfactant heavy rinseless, where it'll pair better so that way we remove the second guessing if you're using a pad washer. Hopefully that makes sense, right? And then using the product. That's probably one thing I can test because I have a feeling that some people is gonna say, well, I ended up using say Quiver, but it's like 50% polymer, 50% surfactant, or I ended up using ONR and it's not working. I ended up using Absolute Rinseless. I thought that so there's things that just I don't want to create a product to create it, but you guys know me. I love rinseless washing anyways, right? So that is that. And then Juice Free says, is it a diminishing compound? It is not a diminishing compound. It does not. It's not really a diminishing compound whatsoever. I don't know how to explain it. Um, I'll explain it. I'll explain it better once everything comes into fruition. So you're not. What else? The rinseless method of wiping off polish is a nice way to say that the polish is a bitch to wipe off. Exactly. Like that's in a way. I don't want to say yes and no because sometimes just polishing oils it just gets on there, right? So it says what is lacking in polishes now. All right. So J Farm, I need you any polish that's out there right now. Yeah, you can polish in direct sunlight, right? To a degree. To a degree. You can polish in direct sunlight. But it is not fun. The closest thing that I've noticed that you can really polish in direct sunlight is Endgame. and System 1. That's what I ended up using. But the problem with all the other ones is it's annoying to wipe off. The polishing oils are there. So although people say you can use my compound um, or polish, you can use my compound or polish, there's no oils, there's no fillers, yada, yada, yada. You wipe it off. And then they say, well, you can coat right over it, but to make things more easier for everyone and insurance, we're going to sell you a panel prep. And that is pretty much every brand. I am trying to avoid that. This is why I'm doing this testing right here. So this way you can actually have great cut, great finish, cut in the sun, in direct sun, finish in direct sunlight, wipe off, go on your merry way, have fun, do whatever you do. This will do 90% of your jobs, and you could park it in the garage or let it sit and coat right over it. No panel prep needed. J Farm. He says so. Pretty much use only Fine Labs and the pad washer. I want to say yes. I want to say yes. You can use Eco Wash from you can use Eco Wash from Owner's Pride, which is heavy surfactant. I think Drive Auto Appearance has a heavy surfactant rinseless as well. So that is to keep in mind that you can use. Fine Lab, from what I understand, I know it has polymers in it, but again, it's more surfactant heavy. So just use something like that. I've tested that out with, again, surfactant heavy one. He says, so when is Jimbo gonna shout me out? He's probably gonna shout me out tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Jimbo's my boy. But yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. You like ADS Hero. That the problem with ADS Hero, it's 50-50. It's not heavy surfactant, right? Um, from I gotta ask again. I gotta ask Bradley and gotta ask Bradley and them to see if and CJ to see if it is. Um, but from what I remember correctly, I remember it was 50-50, and it was a hybrid surfactant rinseless wash. Um, I think it was a 50-50 mix, and that's where it was at. So again, the less polymers you have on it, the better it will perform, because that's the case. Now, of course, the reason why I say more surfactant heavy, because say if it's like 30%, right, or less than 50% polymer, the minute you wring out that polish residue, right, or wring out the pad, the minute you put on the polish and you start agitating with heat, the polymer has pretty much nothing to do to stick onto the paint, right? You're not going to stick anything on the paint to the polymer isn't going to last on the paint because you already generated that heat. You overworked whatever minuscule protection that a rinseless wash typically has. And like I said, just for security reasons and insurance, use more that's more surfactant heavy, if that makes sense. And yeah. So says someone should innovate a good, cheap pH neutral soap. Yo, Juice Free, I'm going to be quite honest, man. Like once you start coming onto the development route, it gets costly, man. It get depending on the raws you get, what emulsion you're wanting to get, how concentrated you want it to be, um, how much you want longevity. Uh, it ends up getting costly. And then on top of that, again, the raws, just in general of importing raws and what you're getting is more. And then also if you are, and then also if you're private labeling and doing stuff like that as well, then guess what? It's even if you're private labeling or making your own proprietary blend and all this other jazz, um, yeah, man, you have to pay either a cut or something to say the main person that's doing your blending or whatever, and then it just ends up costing, right? It's just it's weird if you don't have everything for yourself. If you're not the actual chemist, the detailer, and you have everything, trust me, it's not it's not gonna be cheap. It's like it's like a farmer with chickens, right? Like you pay, if you're a restaurant, you have to pay a premium price for your eggs and your freaking, you know, chicken meat and all that stuff because you're not growing chickens in your backyard. It's just a whole bunch of things. It says I use DIY V1 to, yep, DIY V1 will be just fine. The only thing is they don't sell much of that. So if you have that, you're good to go, J Farm. It's been a while for me. I think McKee's is, yes, McKee's at 914. Well, I take that back. So V1 was heavy surfactant, but if I remember correctly, their V2 version of McKee's, their rinseless wash, is more polymer based to make it slicker. So just, I don't know the percentage of it. Um, just test whatever you need. You ever try just regular water in the lake? Yes, I did, and this is why I like this polish, Franco, because I did say it. You can just use regular distilled water with this polish to clean out your pads. You don't need a rinseless wash. Just people like a rinseless wash because yes, in a way, the surfactants clean better, right? You have surfactants in there, but this is why I'm saying surfactants. I still like R&R better than all the hybrids. Absolutely. I mean, use whatever, again, if you like ONR, but I don't recommend a polymer only rinseless for this. You're not going to get the best clean on your pads. You're not going to do that. I done a bunch of tests. You're not going to get that type of clean with it, and then you don't want that pure polymers onto your actual pad. So just use distilled water, or as I said, a surfactant heavy rinseless. It says, yo, what's up? Yo, what's going on, Dan? So yeah, that is that is something just to keep in mind, juice free, because I know people are gonna make that mistake. They're gonna come in and just say, "Yo, I ended up using ONR. I ended up using Absolute. I ended up using, you know, Hydrosave from Level Cosmetica, and now, you know, my coating didn't bond properly because this and that." I'll be like, "Well, what did you use? You know?" Yep, you can use Fine Lab. You'll be pretty much good. I think it's more. I think I think the surfactant blend is very high on it, and I did use it with Fine Lab in my pad washer. Worked just fine. I did use it with distilled water. Worked just fine. So that's what I got. All right, fellas. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This live last final view. Bam, nice, glossy. Look at that shine. So I ended up doing some patches here and there with um with coatings of four different coatings, which is the DIY Hydrate, HPC Pro, Immortal, and the DIY 1 year one. And come back down here. Bam, look at that, man. That thing looks so nice. Look at that. So So full honesty, I'll probably still use a panel prep. So make it cut and shine like a beast, dude. I do whatever you want. Do whatever feel. Do whatever fuels your boat. How about this, Chingy? How about you just coat a part of your hood of your car, wipe polish a part of your hood of your car, put three different coatings once I come out with my phone and do a test. If it lasts you more than 6 to 8 weeks on your panel after a couple washes, the polish does not hinder the bond of your coating. There's no way that the coating will fail 1 year from whenever you did it on your daily driver and say, well, it was the polish because I didn't use a panel prep. That's just absurd to me. If a coating fails after a year on a daily driver, after no panel prep or wiping, it's not because of the polish. It is literally just because it is just worn down. That's literally it. There's no way. But trust me, it cuts like a beast, and you see the shine. So that's what you got. So right now, what's your favorite part on the polish with testing? So so right now, what's your favorite part on the polish with testing? There is no favorite part. I'm gonna be quite honest. Testing polishes, testing, doing all this stuff. It's a it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of trial and error, making sure what you like, what you don't like. Um, you know what you're looking for. Nothing's done right the first time, and if it was, then all of us, will be making products right easily. So it's just a long journey, but the closer you get to it, the funner it gets. I feel like let's see, time to grab a hood sock from a junkyard and do some testing on it. I was thinking of that, of potentially getting a junkyard hood, but the problem with that is yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. I should probably do that. I should do that. It's just I mean, I do got the space in the garage, but it's just oh yeah, I should probably do that. But that's the other thing, J Farm, right? A lot of people need to understand that's another thing about ceramic coatings. All clear coats are different, right? Some are more porous than others, some are softer, some over time will, again, sometimes the coatings doesn't last as long as you intended to because of the different clear coat systems that they have and the quality of the clear. So there's so much variables. This is why for me I'm staying away in terms of ceramic coatings because there's so many variables that can go wrong with a ceramic coating. Um, yes, in the lab test, yes, can it last that long? But nobody's washing the car once a week. Nobody is, um, nobody's washing their car once a week. Nobody's washing the car right after it rains. None of that stuff. Most people are washing the car once every 2 weeks, once a month. Whatever time they have, man. Says Franco, can we be friends or you still hate me? So I want to come to clear coat confession. Oh nice. He says, Juice, by the way, I read the chat from yesterday. I tried to read. Yeah. So that's something that a lot of people need to keep in mind. So I feel like DIY soap is better than their rinseless. Nah. Crazy. Crazy with that juice free. Crazy. All right. So says Juice is the only one with the correct take on drying towel. uh So, all right. So, no more questions. I'm just gonna end the chat now, and that's at the chat, the view, or the live. You see, I'm tired. The view, the chat. I'm tired. So, hopefully that's it. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Watch the whole live. In the first 15 seconds, I say it's not who it is, and yeah. So, see ya all on the next one. Yeah, I'm getting tired. So, later, fellas.